do you? We're gonna talk about EA. Now, in the last podcast, and Cece, I know you are licking your lips like LL Cool J right now. I know. You are licking your lips as seductive as you did when you met Karma.
All I did was I got on one knee. I held those hips. I put my arm around that shoulder, and that's it. I'm a classy lady.
You pulled the Miles Morales from Into the Spider-Verse, like, hey. Anyways,
yeah, pretty much that's what I did.
No, okay, but no, on the real, we got actually.
I mean, reckless.
What?
I could bring up the photo.
We're not bringing it up. Okay? So EA. Now, in our last podcast, we talked about the issue that went on with EA during the UK Parliament meeting where home chick from EA, I can't remember that woman's name off the top of my head, but she pretty much said that that loot boxes, when it comes to EA, are not loot boxes, they're surprise mechanics, and they pretty much denied any allegations about a gambling addiction. They denied the fact that, like, oh no, we don't see the fact that, like, we see it as like a freedom of speech, free rights and all that stuff, okay? Well, EA is back in the news because EA recently talked to Gaming Industry Biz, and they talked to one of the representatives, Matt Bilbey. I don't care if I butcher this man's name, and he said this: 25 years at EA, and I still struggle with the external perception that we're just a bunch of bad guys. He's actually the EVP of strategic growth at EA. We love making and playing video games. Unfortunately, when we make mistakes on games, the world knows about it because it's of size and scale. He continues to say, as we got bigger, there is a concern that we have become disconnected from new talent coming through. EA Originals is our opportunity to connect with the talent and those smaller ideas. When you are part of a big company, it's too easy to fall into the trap where when you see a game concept, it has to be big. The notions of actually coming up with the small, unique game ideas. We know from the work that we've been doing on our subscription business that gamers will play a FIFA or a Fortnite. They have one main franchise, but they want breaks from those games to play something that's maybe 5 or 10 hours long. EA Originals are also games that we don't make in bigger parts of EA or don't make enough of. So while there was a philanthropic part of it, selfishly it was the way for us to connect to talent on smaller ideas. When you are in the company and have a success and mistakes are around live service microtransactions, free to play, what geographies, what partners to work with, what animation engines, it actually feels good for our team to sit with EA Original developers and you can actually give real advice. It generally makes you feel good. It's advice to help them not make the same mistakes. So, I took the floor last time and became a massive rant. I'm gonna let Cece I'm gonna tag Cece in. Cece, no filters, go ahead.
On EA, correct?
Yes, go. We're hitting EA.
We're not getting any not getting any sponsors anytime soon, correct?
We're not getting any sponsors unless this podcast will be sponsored by Dough Girls Pizza. May or may not. I'm not sure. But for right now, we're not getting any sponsors.
Not this week, it isn't.
Go off, but make sure we still have sponsors if we ever get them. Go ahead.
Oh, but that's not fun.
Fine, you go ahead. I will say this as a disclaimer. Cece does not speak for everyone from the Scrocal Gaming Podcast. Go ahead. Now, the floor is yours. Take it away.
Okay, I want to say this. EA, you have so much tea. How many tea bags did it take to heat up all that tea that you're making for the internet nowadays? I hope you know you're such a joke that it's actually...
Keep in mind, 300... Cece, hold on. I got more fuel for your fire. 350 people lost their jobs this year. Keep that in mind at EA. Also, Andrew Wilson made over $35 million. Keep going.
The games, yes, some are actually fun. I'll give you that. You have that minor little successes in your little limp dick careers. But within that, I'd say a lot of the reason why people lost their jobs is, I don't know, maybe you're being a little shit that's useless and play games. But that's just my opinion within that. And the purchases, yes, you have sales on occasion. You have a lot of fun multiplayer. Sometimes even, I guess you could say Fire Stone, which helps a few friends to play. But other than that, you don't really get any other currency within that. You release all the new cosmetic currencies! Oh my god, we're so blessed! You can release all that you want, and I'm not saying that you can't. A lot of games are releasing content to get their funds and or just have their fans happy. And I know I'm gonna get killed for this, but League of Legends and Overwatch are a good contribution to that. They release some fan-made skins, and they give English. They give their debts when they're due. Like, there was a fan skin that was created for the breast cancer awareness for Mercy. That was originally made for not only the awareness, but it was also designed by a fan. But they gave it that where it was due. But I guess EA, how much you could say? If we're going back in the audit logs, I think the last time I ever heard of this drama that you're bringing in was 2017. That was 3 years of such tea! Oh my god! How much water did you boil? You make it all in, and you work all hard of how much your Star Wars Battlefront is having so much fun with their in-game currency paid for. But really, didn't that cause more problems and debt than what you ever earned? I wonder how many more will you take until you finally go in that little grave you dug and die?
Okay, Cece, real quick, I just want to add another part. Keep in mind, they're still under investigation for microtransactions.
Oh my god, so we're still knowing that you're a piece of shit and you're not even accepting it. I wonder how long it's gonna take until you wiggle into that little grave with your little feet, with your tail between your legs, and begging for mercy when you know it's gonna be useless. Your voice is as worthless as dirt. Oh wait, no, dirt's actually useful because it gives us resources. Never mind, you're worthless than nothing in this world.
You good?
Anything else?
You good, Cece? Okay, cool. My turn. And
But
tag
I
me in.
still want us to get some.
Alright, tag me in. I want the EA Electronic Arts marks, who I know is somewhere in the underground defending EA on their business practices. I want you guys to look really hard in the mirror, and I want you to understand. Back in 2012, EA had won for Worst Company of the Year because of the crap.
We're gonna get.
Because of the crap that happened with Mass Effect Andromeda. And they defended themselves thick and thin about the decision they made with, not Mass Effect Andromeda, Mass Effect 3, I apologize. They defended themselves thick and thin with the ending they made for Mass Effect 3. Okay? Now, let's scale into the future. Star Wars Battlefront, when they remade the game, had little to no content, had no story mode, and was filled to the brim of microtransactions. And on top of that, people at EA, some of the executives at EA admitted to Battlefront them downgrading the gameplay so that way an 8-year-old is able to play it. And stuff like that. There are also EA elitists that say that the only reason why Battlefront 2, the original one, was popular was because of when it came out, because it was around the time Episode 3 came out, and because it couldn't afford to put many people to play it. First of all, around that time, keep in mind, Battlefront 2 was one of the most popular games that came out in 05 and 06 because of the multiplayer, because of the amount of content it had, and it was probably one of the most polished games to have come out around that time. So much so, people actually managed to, someone over at Lucas and probably someone at EA who knew how much the new Battlefront 2 was going to tank, decide to switch the servers back on. Yes, people, if you hated Battlefront 2, the new one, as much as everyone else in the entire gaming world, you can actually buy the original Battlefront 2 for $5 to maybe $7, and you have stellar online multiplayer to this day. Also, EA is the reason why Visceral Games got shut down. The same developers who made the Dead Space franchise. And you saw what happened with Dead Space 3. You saw what happened with Medal of Honor. You saw what happened to Bad Company series. And Mass Effect. EA has, throughout the last 5 to 6 years, has tanked franchise after franchise after franchise after franchise, and yet somehow they still they still have the audacity with these loot boxes, and they have the audacity to say they're just surprise mechanics. But hey, I'm just a man on a microphone. I'm just a nerd on a microphone who doesn't know any better.
I think you have more credibility than they ever do in their own.
Bro, I have more credibility. Bro, I have more credibility than the people at IG who was freaking plagiarizing reviews. But that's a different story for another time. That's not the point. EA if you guys are actually serious that you do not understand why you are the bad guys, then you must be stupid. There are things that I want to say that are not FCC friendly, and because of the fact that I am trying my very best to stop cussing on this podcast, myself personally, okay? Because I realize that I cuss way too much. I am doing my absolute best not to cuss. But by the grace of God, I'm trying. EA, if you are seriously telling us that you don't understand why we're the bad guys, we're just simple people trying to make simple games, then look back in the past few years of what you've done to the gaming industry. Look at the amount of publicity, bad publicity that you have gotten with Battlefront 2, with Mass Effect Andromeda, with the crap you pulled with Anthem. So much so, I hope to God Almighty that this does not kill BioWare, because the amount of pressure you put on BioWare for Anthem is horrible. The fact that you are the sole reason that people actually had to take psych evaluations because you put on so much crunch time. They couldn't even put out a stellar game, and you had them lie about it too. And you made them do damage. I swear I bet $5 they had BioWare do damage control. It's like EA had nothing to do with us and the development of BioWare. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. You like, oh, we listen to the developers, we listen to fans. No, you don't, because if you actually had the balls to listen to the fans, you would not be in the situation you are with Belgium being sued. You would not be in the situation with the UK Parliament over the loot box fiascos. And I know damn sure you wouldn't be in the situation in which you're like, we didn't want to be at EA this year because we want to get ridiculed. You had every right to get ridiculed. We had every right to ridicule you because of the amount of abysmal pieces of trashes that you are, and the fact that you are almost as bad, if not worse, than R. Kelly, because y'all will never admit when you are wrong. R. Kelly will never admit that he is wrong, and you are just as guilty as R. Kelly is. I should not be comparing EA to R. Kelly, but just like R. Kelly, you refuse to admit when you are wrong. And and everyone in the entire gaming industry, everyone in the gaming community, and everyone that has ever picked up a controller is sick and tired of your crap. I'm sick of it. And yes, I will say this right now. We want you to make games. We want to support you. But when you make crap like this, and when you make excuses after excuses after excuses, how can we support you? How can we, as individuals, as consumers, how can we keep supporting you if you continue to lie to us? To lie to the faces of UK Parliament, and so much so, you might be the sole reason why another crash might happen, or worse. There is a bit, as I said before in the last podcast, there is currently a bill trying to be passed in Congress to take out microtransactions. But you and I know, but viewers at home, SoundCloud, YouTube, everywhere, you know full well that the U.S. Senate, the U.S. government has been trying to ban games for the longest, and with EA's help, EA's stupidity, and EA's stupidity, the U.S. Congress could be one step closer, baby steps, into banning games from the U.S. because of the bullcrap that EA, like in Epic and Bethesda and Activision do on a daily at this point. Honestly, I really want EA to be at E3. You want to know why? Because I want Andrew Wilson himself, and I hope you're listening, to apologize to everyone in the gaming industry and the gaming community as a whole. Because you are nothing more than pathological liars who refuse to man up. The one thing and there's one thing I've learned today, when it comes, whether people in this, whether people who are going to be listening are religious or not, there's a certain time where you need to find the integrity to admit that you are wrong. And the fact that EA doesn't have the integrity to admit that they are wrong, they are doomed. They are doomed to repeat the crash of the gaming industry in the 80s. And you can thank EA if that actually happens. You can thank the overheads at EA, the overheads at Bethesda, and the overheads at Activision for that, because they will never admit they are wrong. I will give Activision credit for one thing and one thing only. Activision has straight up, and I hope to God these niggas is not lying, that there will not be a season pass and there won't be microtransactions in the next Modern Warfare. I hope to God that these niggas are actually going to own up to their word for that. And I hope to God that at some point that developers will start following CD Projekt. We'll talk about CD Projekt towards the end of the podcast. Broken Comic, do you have any thoughts about this? I'm sorry, Cece, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I have one thing to say. This is just about the workers part of it. I encourage workers to, or bosses to encourage their workers to meet at their deadline. But what I do not encourage is harassing your workers to do something when they're already working as hard as it is, to the point where it breaks their mental state and it causes them to have to go to psychiatric wards or to get mental help because of how much work was put into them to stress them out. That is not okay. Like, you can ask Reckless, you can ask anyone in this podcast. It takes me a lot of convincing to show up because of the stuff I've been handling until recently. It took a lot to be able to get me to be able to make time. And that's fine, because that's encouraging for me to do my work. But it is not okay to force someone to do it and risk their job being lost if they don't do it when it's their mental health being at stake.
I got someone in the comments saying PS4 Anthem bug is a perfect example. Yes, because the EA and look, I don't want to speak any ill will about BioWare. Yes, they have made mistakes in the past, but they have tried their best to fix them. But EA is a perfect. The Anthem's a perfect example on the PS4 because there was a game-breaking bug so bad that EA's like, we don't know what to do. We need your help. First of all, you are the publishers and the developers. You mean to tell me you don't know how to fix a bug? Seriously? Dude, bro, I am so. Dude, again, I am.
You're getting livid.
Dude, and it's hot. It's hot as hell now. I have an AC in my room, and I am sweating.
Hey, what's
Someone
on
needs
your mind about
Jasmine's
this?
lemonade.
Anyways, probably. But Boken Kabuto, real quick, man, do you have any thoughts? I know you don't want to talk about EA, but do you have any quick thoughts? It's just any one-word thoughts. Go ahead.
Okay, first of all, I like to say Cece sounded really adorable when she was doing that speech. She's like a miniature Mecha Random 42 with like the red hair, the glasses, and the rider crop. But I will have to say this, like, when they first said the whole surprise mechanic, I just had to cringe, groan, roll my eyes, and say, does it come with a chocolate egg at least?
I like you.
Oh, Jesus.
Like, the one thing that irritates me about people and companies in general, like whether it's religion, politics, business, anything, is when someone does something bad or even makes a mistake. Let's be honest, we're all human. We make mistakes. You don't, instead of like listening to criticism, apologizing, trying to improve on your work, you double, triple, and quadruple down. Keep making the same mistakes, or worse, make the same mistakes and even worse mistakes on top of those mistakes, to the point where you cannot repair the original mistakes, and people are suffering as a result. And then you make even more mistakes, and you continue to double down on your faults instead of like reflecting on them. You're kind of the bad guy here. And the thing is, on one hand, I want you to have an epiphany and improve on yourself. But on the other hand, the more you double down, the more I actually want you to keep going to see how much further down you're gonna go before you realize.
How far can you dig your hole?
How far is the rabbit hole going to go for EA to finally admit that they've effed up?
But the reason why I prefer the first option instead of being a complete schadenfreude is because there are other people on the line other than the executives at EA. There are employees that could potentially lose their jobs because they're not making enough money. And let's be honest, certain executives would rather, keep their bonuses and lay people off instead of getting rid of the bonus and give everyone a good wage when stocks are down. And like, it just sickens me that EA doesn't have the
integrity,
the ability to reflect on themselves.
I think when it comes to EA, they lack integrity, and I think it has to change.
They lack intellectual integrity and intellectual empathy.
Cause nigga, like, you can't keep making the same mistakes, and you're like, we're gonna keep going. Like, and like I said, Cece and we both said there are games that EA actually does make
that are actually good.
All right, like Apex Legends. I have said this before. I actually like Apex Legends. I'm glad it's finally getting the publicity it needs. Yes, there was a time where the community was dead because of Respawn and not know what to do with it. However, they actually managed to get back on their feet, and Apex Legends right now is currently doing a fairly decent job, and hopefully Titanfall 3 does happen. The new Star Wars Last Jedi, the Jedi Order game, sounds like it looks good. But here's my thing. I hate when they announced that game, EA was like, there will be no microtransactions in single player. I'm like, first of all, there should be no microtransactions or loot boxes in a single player game to begin with. Number one. Number two, weren't you the same fools that said that single player games are dead and no one buys single player games? When I remember last year, Spider-Man and God of War are good examples, were nominated games of the year. Come on, Patty.
You know what's the most recent EA game I ever gotten?
What?
Harry Potter Quidditch World Cup.
Oh yeah, you mentioned this.
Yeah.
But given EA standards and practices, I kind of don't regret getting any more recent games from EA.
Nigga, you know full well that if they remastered Quidditch World Cup, that will be filled to the brim with microtransactions.
Oh hell yeah! And there'd be like so many skins that you have to get in the game, like beyond the standard four Quidditch skins, like you probably have to pay microtransactions just to get like freaking what's it called, that one all girls skins, or that Hungarian all guys skin, or get Japan or Bulgaria or America skins.
Anyways, well, okay,
yeah.
Anyways, I think we, in conclusion, EA, do better, because at this point, I can't. I am sick of it. I have, like, Broken Commodore was honestly very worried that I was gonna have a brain aneurysm in the last episode we did. So for the love of God, please stop. Please, I'm asking you nicely. Please stop.
I haven't heard him beg like this since the last time I saw him on his knees.
First of all, Cece, you never saw me on my knees, girl. You better hush up.
That was the point.
Whatever. The point of the matter is, EA, please, for the love of God, if you have some integrity, have some self-respect for yourself. Andrew Wilson, Mike Bilby, where the hell your name is, and the home chick who said that the Kinder eggs, y'all need to have some actual respect for yourselves, because honestly, at this point, no one in the gaming industry respects any of you. And to the people at EA who are actually trying to make good games and are actually trying to do their jobs to try to improve the image of EA, this is not for you guys. I respect y'all. I respect y'all because y'all are on this ship and y'all are trying your very best to keep the ship afloat. I commend you guys, God bless. But to you niggas that I just named, y'all are the reasons why EA is in the crap storm that it is in right now. And I'm done with y'all. F EA, okay? I'm done with them. Hey there, enjoyed the video? If you did, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And be sure to hit the bell icon because YouTube's algorithm is still a straight dumpster fire. Now, if you want more information or any more updates on my new videos that are going to be coming out, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @TheReckless_Fox. And you can follow me on Twitch.tv/RecklessFox, where I do all my live playthroughs and live reviews of television and movies with the rest of my friends. Speaking of which, if you want some more content, you want to scratch that itch and, fill that void, and when I'm not doing any new videos, you can follow SoundCloud.com/ScrubClubGaming. That's SoundCloud.com/ScrubClubGaming, where episodes of the Scrub Club podcast are now up, as well as new episodes of the Scrub Lounge. Till then, keep it working things $20 or less. Peace!